Because when you're what is the answer? Why is exercise beneficial for diabetics? In fact, it's considered a prescription of exercise. Why? What will be your answer?
Circulation of the blood.
The what?
Circulation of the blood tissue.
No, I don't accept that answer. It's very vague. What answer will I accept? Why is exercise beneficial for lowering your blood sugar?
Because it burns off the sugar.
And then what else? So once the sugar is so when you're exercising, you're burning the sugar in your muscle, right? So what happens? You have to replenish the sugar in your muscle. So you grab it from the blood, and that's how you lower the sugar. You see how that's your answer was not accepted. Her answer is accepted but not complete. Okay? Okay? You understand? Okay, so the complete answer is when you're exercising, you're using the sugar in your muscle. So what will the muscle do? Replenish its glycogen storage. Where is it going to get it? From the blood. And that's why exercise lowers the blood sugar. It's good for diabetics. Okay? So now we just have a little bit left. We have now your cardiac muscle. So as far as the rest of the muscles are concerned, everything that we just studied, the sarcomere, the thick and thin filament, etc., everything that we just studied is the same. For cardiac, it happens for cardiac, happens to smooth muscle also. What makes cardiac different? Well, histologically, remember, it's uninucleated, skeletal is multinucleated. And then with cardiac muscle, you have the intercalated discs, right? Where there's a lot of gap junctions. Are you familiar with the pacemaker, right? So your muscle is made up of not just one cell, but lots of cells. But when it contracts, it's like it's just one cell contracting. That's because of the gap junctions. The pacemaker travels, it's able to travel very quickly and stimulate it like it's one whole big muscle cell. You understand? Okay? The gap junction. But do you have sarcomeres? Yes. Everything that we discussed, the sliding filament, excitation, contraction, applies to all the muscles. Location is also different. Okay? Next, your smooth muscle. Smooth muscle is a little bit different. Look at this one is deceiving. It's not true that there are no sarcomeres. If you read, it says it's not arranged as symmetrically as in the other muscles. So that's why you don't have striations. But there's the sarcomere. It's the basic functional unit of muscle. A sarcomere is made up of the thick and thin filaments. Okay, so there they are. Except that the actin is bound to the cell membrane of smooth muscle, to proteins called the dense bodies. Okay? So it's bound there so that when the myosin pulls the actin, right? It's like when you're trying to dry your clothes or towel like this. So it contracts in like a corkscrew manner, which is beneficial if you think about where you find smooth muscle. That helps you empty your bladder completely or pushing the blood to your arteries. You understand? Okay? There's something very important about smooth muscle, and that is plasticity. Plasticity. Okay? Uh, This one, you remember the elastic fibers, right? So with smooth muscle, they're able to stretch and then they assume that new resting state, which is a godsend and also I guess, a curse, a blessing and a curse. When, like, especially with the girls, right? You don't want to pee pee now because the bathroom is stinky or there's a stain there. You don't want to use it. You hold your pee pee until you get to the next rest area. So what happened? Your bladder is filled with water, with urine. So it stretches and it assumes that new resting state plasticity until you get to the next rest area. You understand? And this also explains why when I first came to this country, the Sabaros pizza, are you familiar with that pizza? I can only eat 1/3 of that and I'm so full. But now no problem. I can eat 3, 4, no problem. See? Plasticity. See? So that's where the curse part happens, right? Okay? And of the 3 types of muscle, smooth muscle has the highest chance of repair because of stem cells. There are stem cells called pericytes. Pericytes. Pericytes are actually stem cells that replace blood vessels, injured blood vessels. But if needed, they can form new smooth muscle cells. That's why GI surgery is generally successful. And I think that's why surgeons get paid a lot of money. When you do your cat dissection, you will have to cut. You don't have to worry about cutting through muscle, right? But the surgeons, they have to make sure that the skeletal muscle is not injured or damaged. Otherwise, you can't repair that. Once they get in smooth muscle, they can just cut, replace, no problem. Because you have stem cells. You understand? Okay? So that's the one thing very different with smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle, there's some textbooks that say that skeletal muscle also has stem cells called satellite cells. However, uh, satellite cells are not that much. If it's a big skeletal muscle damage, satellite cells cannot help you. So that's why some books don't even include that in their text. You understand? Only smooth muscle, for sure, has that uh, benefit or advantage for us. Okay? So the next chapter, chapter 10, shows you the list of muscles. And next week, oh, do you have your Bio 241 worksheets? This one. So there's a list of muscles here. So next week, maybe Thursday next week, we're already going to start our cat dissection. Okay? So hopefully you all have your formula training. And here is the list of muscles that I want you to find in your cat. So there's cat muscles, and then down here there's human muscles. You have to locate them in our human models for your lab exam. In other words, your lab exam number 3. This is the list of muscles that I want you to look for. Okay? From here on, expect a pop quiz where I will put pictures like this. Maybe I'll do this one. Like this. Maybe I'll show pictures of maybe I'll have you do it. I'll say bend forward, or what muscles help you to bend forward? What muscles help you to raise your hand up like that? So you need to know those muscles. In your textbook, you have, so in chapter 10, page 328, 329, figure 10.4 and 10.5. You should know these muscles. Just like I'm requiring you to know your bones, you should know those muscles. Those are the ones that you will need to answer questions on what muscles are being used. I will also be giving you worksheets so that you can properly answer and find out what muscles will be used. You understand? Okay? So I think I'm going to end the lecture here because even if I started the nervous system, no one will listen to me. What I want you to do is to use the rest of the time period to study your bones. Beginning next week, we're going to do cat dissection. I'm leaving it up to you to know your bones. Lab number 2 is only bones. That's what should help you bring up your grade. Lab number 3 is the rest, the muscles, and the rest of the nervous structures, the brain, the eyes, the ears. You have all of them. So if there's any lab exam that will pull your grade, it's lab number 2 because it's only bones. Okay? So those two cabinets right there in the center, the one on top and the bottom are all your skeleton. So I want you to do, work as a group and look at your bones. And again, next week, no open toes allowed. We're going to do our cat dissection. We're not allowed to do open toes. Bring your goggles. If you don't like the goggles here, we have Vicks here. If you need face mask, you can bring your face mask. We have lab coats here, but you can bring your own. I prefer long sleeve lab coats. We provide gloves, okay, and we provide the dissecting instruments. So again, Thursday next week we open up our cats. Okay, so use the